No good about it, Michelle. They pass a bill. It's going to supersede this law. The president would withdraw. We know that. But will it happen? Doesn't look too likely right now. But let's get it right from the horse's mouths. Democratic Congressman from Illinois, Luis Gutierrez. He's the chairman of the Immigration Task Force of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. And Congressman Sean Duffy, Republican from Wisconsin. Big day for you. Duffy just appointed the new chairman of the House Financial Services Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. Boy, you talk about a group that we need to see Congress get after more. The financial institutions fall squarely in that. That's a conversation for another day, but congratulations. First question to you. Let's deal with why and how this was done. I know that you're upset about that, but let's start with what. What did the president say last night that you disagree with?
Well, listen, the president is really good at giving speeches, and he did that well last night. And he touches a tone with a lot of people who care about our neighbors. And so I think the speech went really well. But when we look beyond the speech and look at the policy that he's doing through this executive action, we talked about this before, that there's a number of people who get exposed to harm because of the fact that this executive order could go away. Could be overturned by the courts, but also there's another 7 million people, 7 million people who aren't being covered by the executive action. And here, Chris, what I want to see happen, Louis has done a great job working with Republicans. He's an advocate for the Hispanic community. He's built good relationships with the Republican Party, our leaders like Paul Ryan and others. But politics is no different than families. It's no different than a business relationship. People have to work together. They have to trust each other. They have to get to know each other. And the president, he doesn't have any relationships with members of Congress. He might have a relationship with Louis, but he doesn't have good relationships with Democrat congressmen and senators. For one of the first times, he had a conversation with Mitch McConnell, the new Senate Majority Leader. So if we're going to get stuff done on big issues where we might have some disagreement, we have to build relationships and trust with one another. And I think one of the key points for us is we want to get immigration reform done, but we have to secure our border. And the key to that is that when we deal with those who've come without documentation, this is the last time we're going to have a program where 10 or 15 million people who've come unlawfully without documentation get legal status because we now have a secure border and a work visa system that actually works.
But, Congressman, you can't just look at this situation as what wasn't done. I asked you, what did you hear that you disagree with? When you're saying, well, it leaves a lot of people uncovered. But it covers a lot of people that are exposed to harm right now, this minute. And let me take that to you, Representative Gutierrez. And I know everybody calls you Louis, but out of respect, I'm going with Luis when I started. But you've been a big proponent for change. You've been pushing the president to take action. Do you think this is a step in the right direction and it should be seen that way as opposed to what it is not?
You know, I had a hard time really getting to sleep last night because I thought about all the children clinging to their parents' legs, the families that have been fractured and divided. The destructiveness and the corrosiveness of our broken immigration system, what that has on American families, on American citizen children, on American husbands and wives. And I thought about now there is an alternative. To my Republican friends and colleagues, I say I am ready to work with you once again. But what the president has done is allowing people to come out of the shadows, but more importantly, he's allowing them to register with the government. You know, he says, come and provide us with your fingerprints. And if you can go through a background check and you got a clean bill of health, I'm going to let you pay taxes. I'm going to let you work. I'm going to let you get right with the law. I'm going to let you raise your family. So I'm ready to work with my Republican friends and colleagues. As Sean so adequately described, I did stand up in Chicago with Paul Ryan and with Congressman Carter in Texas, and I went out to Bakersfield with Congressman Valadao. I know there are sufficient, but you know what? They never gave us a vote. And when Speaker Boehner last June called the president and said, in spite of all my efforts, Mr. President, in spite of your efforts, we're not going to have a vote on immigration, the president said he would take action to protect those families.
And there's a lot of speculation, that if there were a vote, it would have passed, and that played into the politics of the situation also. But Chairman Duffy, let me come back to you with this. You know, this hits home to all of us. Let's be honest. Duffy,
Chris, that sounds really good, by the way.
I know, it should. It should. You know, look, you should be proud of it. We need, we need new leadership. The question is what you do with it. But, you know, your name, Duffy, Irish, you know, few generations, many people in the country from here. Gutierrez, I mean, that's obvious. The newest wave of immigrants. Cuomo, I'm second generation in this country. You know, the politics is escaping the human reality of what's going on here. If you're worried about people who are exposed, you said there are going to be a lot of people exposed. Why isn't the response to get your brothers and sisters to put their behinds in the seats and pass a bill?
So, a good point. But when you work through differences, Representative Gutierrez is a big part of the solution. But Barack Obama has to be part of the solution. You can't just give speeches and play politics and then use your pen when you don't build relationships with the other side.
Pass a bill and see if he vetoes it.
To note.
Pass a bill. Put the pressure on him. Go ahead, Louis. Go ahead, Louis. You respond, not me.
We believe in the rule of law in America, and people come here because of opportunity and the rule of law. And if you break down the rule of law,
then pass a law.
Listen, Chris, that's our prerogative. If we don't pass a law, that's a prerogative of the Congress.
But don't say it's a problem. But don't say it's a problem and then not pass a law.
The president wants us to pass. That doesn't mean he has the opportunity just to do it through executive order. That's not how our government works.
Louis, you get in and respond to the chairman.
Is Louis going to find himself in 2 years and say we're going to have a Green Water Act? Go ahead, sorry, Louis.
Go ahead, let him get in there. Duffy's mad at me, not you, Louis.
I'm sorry. If I could just look, the executive order comes into effect on January 1st. My friend, Mr. Duffy, will have a larger majority in the House. They control the Senate. They have 180 days, Chris, before anybody can apply for any work visa. 180 days. During those 180 days, they can draft a bill. But I want to say something. President Barack Obama worked to shepherd a bill through the Senate, 68 to 32. When they said we couldn't include gay people, look, we didn't like it, but we found compromise. When they said, oh, you know, everybody can't become a citizen, we didn't walk away from the table. Remember when they said they had to do it in parts and pieces? We said, let's figure out what those parts and pieces are till we can get to a whole. We never walked away from the table. But the fact is, the House of Representatives has never presented a bill. All they had to do was present their version. I told my Republican colleagues, forget about the Senate. You don't like the Senate bill? Let's craft an even better bill in the House. It never happened. There was never a vote, so we never went to conference, and we never used regular order.
Congressman Duffy, give us the final word on this.
The American people don't support executive action. The Hispanic community doesn't support executive action. The president is at historic lows. We have the biggest majority we've had in 80 years. We do want to get this done. We do want to work together. But this is the wrong approach, and the American people aren't standing with the president going this course. They want the Congress to work. And as we just had these new historic elections, they want bipartisanship. They want people to work together. We're starting this off on the wrong foot with a president who's going it alone, poking the eye poking his finger in the eye of the Republican Party. And I think that is a bad tone and tenor to get things done over the next 2 years.
And to just...
We'll start signing people up tomorrow in Chicago. We'll have hundreds of volunteers getting ready, and the sign-up starts tomorrow in the city of Chicago and across this nation. Our community thanks the president for this act of, for this courageous act. And this act, you know what he did last night, Chris? He humanized us. He told our story. He didn't give the facts of what he was doing. He told our story. And for that, I'm always going to be thankful.
Well, look, it is good to keep the focus on people. Both parties, I'm sure, agree on that. We're looking for compromise. What I'm pushing for is congressional action. For me, it's not about what's in the bill. It's that you guys do something. That's the point I'm coming at you. It's not partisan one way or the other.
We'll be back.
It's just
Duffy
to see it get done.
We'll be back with a bill.
All right. Congratulations to you, Chairman
What
Duffy.
happens when the next president undermines the EPA and the Clean Water Act?
All right.
Bad precedent.
Well, it's a conversation for another day. I understand what you're saying about executive orders. That'll play out as well. Gentlemen, thank you to both of you. And please, get to work for the rest of us. Now, later this